I entered a drift competition in Japan with 20 days notice and less than 3 months after getting my first drift car. These are the kind of drivers I was up against. I moved to Japan from the UK around 2.5 years ago and fell in love with drifting. After seeing the aggressive style of Japanese driving up close, I knew it was something that I wanted to try for myself. So I bought a simulator, and over the past year I put in around 500 hours on Assetto Corsa teaching myself how to drift. Around 3 months ago I linked up with Stay Drifting Rentals in Okinawa and I did a half-day drift experience in an automatic car where I was able to put my skills to the test doing donuts and figure of eights. After that, my resolve was even stronger, so I bought my first drift car, a Toyota Mark II JZX 100. I practiced in my car for around 2 months at the local track, at which point my mentor told me I should sign up for the next drift competition. At first I just laughed it off, because I knew there was no way I was ready for that, and I'd seen the standard of drivers that were in these events. My mentor kept asking me, and eventually I thought, you know what, what's the worst that could happen? So I agreed and signed up. That's where this story starts. 20 days out to the competition, with no confidence in my ability to drive and a car that needed a lot of work.
Firstly, the tyres up front were some Nankangs, not the grippiest, and also severely corded on the inside edge. And probably the bigger issue with the car, as I look under here, is the diff. So this was leaking. Basically, ever since I'd had the car, I knew it was something that we wanted to investigate further. Oh, we have some.
Yeah, that's GL4. You can smell it.
Smells like GL4, bro said.
A little bit of flakes. Nothing too crazy though.
We're at Yanbaru circuit, we've got less than 10 days for the drift competition. Had to try this track out for the first time. Done it on the simulator a bunch of times. Let's try that again.
So it looks like the diff wasn't fixed after all. And here's a better look at those tyres. When I first signed up for the drift competition, I hadn't realised it was going to be in the middle of rainy season. I'd only drifted once in the rain before, and that's something I can't show you here for legal reasons. So in that first hour block with the practice runs, we had 10 minutes between like 8 cars, so really not a lot of time to get out there. And I wrote this thing about like, I'm gonna drive the wrong way. And I said it before, the last time, the only other time I've done a course layout. Yeah, that time, first lap, I drove the wrong way. I had a map up as well. I had the phone with showing the map, and I still managed to go the wrong way again. I didn't look at the map at all. I was just trying to felt like I was holding on for dear life. And then by the time I finished that, it was like, oh, your session is over. So that 10 minutes had elapsed, and I just had to come back into the pits, but it's kind of left me feeling, you know, a bit stressed out. It's made me more nervous. I kind of got a bit panicky. The rain has stopped, so that's good. It's not raining, it's dry. It's a bit more familiar for me, but it's super hot, it's super humid. A lunch break then after the first group, and then, so I've had a bite to eat, should be feeling a bit better. And I guess we'll go back out in about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'll try and take it a bit easier this time, because I think I was going in too fast. Like, just, I don't know what I was doing. Like, I also need to try and use the handbrake or a left foot brake in there. Yeah, we're here now, all the cars and stuff. Wish me luck. The zones weren't actually chalked on until the competition day, so in practice, I wasn't sure how close I was getting to any of them. For me, there were a few challenging aspects to this layout. The first zone was almost immediately after leaving the starting line, which is something I wasn't familiar with. And then after looping back on the figure 8, the idea was to get as much speed as possible down the straight and then go for a big snap transition, a weight transfer to get into the third zone. And then finally, the fourth zone, which was quite close to the wall. Couldn't seem to get a clean lap. I was either messing up on the big transition or in zone 4 on the snap. One of the judges for the competition was Hisashi Kamimoto, one of the lead judges of D1 GP. He wasn't able to make the practice day as his flight from the mainland was delayed. That meant that across the practice day and the competition day, there were multiple changes to the layout, and even on the competition day itself, the scoring zones and layout were changed slightly at the last minute. Kamimoto had said that while, of course, they were scoring for position in the zones, they would prefer to see more of an aggressive, fast, crazy driving style with big snap transitions, and that they would actually deduct points if you were dragging the handbrake or trying too hard to just get into the zones, essentially, while ruining the line and aggressive style. After watching me spin out a few times on the practice day, a friend of mine asked if he could take a look at the car. He checked the rear damping and found that one side had been set fully hard and one side was set around in the middle. With my permission, he changed the damping to be all the way soft for the rain, but I'd forgotten to change this again on the competition day when it had dried out. I was spinning out a lot, even in the dry. I remembered the change I'd made and knew that something didn't feel right. So we checked the suspension and set it all the way hard. We caught this just before the qualifying began, which was great, but it meant that I hadn't really had a chance to practice with the car.
Your meditation.
I'd done pretty well so far in managing my nerves. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but as I waited for the light to turn green, it felt like an eternity. And suddenly, my chest got heavy and my hands started shaking violently. I messed up in the first qualifying run and span out on the big transition. I tried to keep it going, but obviously that wasn't a great run. I had one more chance left. Even though I span out in my first qualifying run, I went back around for my second run. My hands had stopped shaking. For some reason I felt more confident. This was my final chance. This was all or nothing.
I watched and waited as the judges read out the names of those who had qualified, starting with the first place ranked all the way down to 24th. I was disappointed when my name wasn't called out, but after I saw the score sheet, I started to feel a lot better. I had placed 25th out of 32 drivers, and I had missed qualifying by 0.3 points. My score was only around 10 points down from the number 1 ranked. On the one hand, it probably was too soon for my first drift competition, but on the other side, I think actually now, if I were to join another competition, I would know what to expect and I would be able to go in there with a lot more confidence. The next competition is next month, and entries close in about a week. What do you think? Should I enter? That's not good. What, crying on the last word or something? Can't do that.
That's good.
No.
That's good.